Welcome to this week's episode of Undisputed MMA. My great pleasure to be joined by the legend himself, Mr. Roy Jones Jr. Roy, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me.
So I think just give us a bit of the background of how you got into boxing. Where did that journey start for you?
For me, when I was a kid, I watched Muhammad Ali fight Joe Frazier. And then my father was watching the fight. And in watching that fight, I realized that Muhammad Ali wasn't winning the fight with his body as so much as with his mind. I thought he was doing it more with his mind than with his body. So I always felt like if someone taught me how to use my skills, use my hands to punch with, I could do mentally what he was doing. And that really led me to believe that boxing was my home.
And then how did you get into the training itself? Where was the first boxing gym you walked into and actually started that journey?
Never walked to a boxing gym. My father used to box.
Okay.
I didn't know it, but he used to box. So he started training me when I got about 10 years old. Me and a few local neighborhood guys, he started training us and just progressed.
And then you had obviously a very storied amateur career as well, over 121 wins. And what was that amateur career like for you? What was the highlights in that career?
The biggest highlights were I won the National Junior Olympics at 15 in 1984. I won National Golden Gloves in 86 and 87. I got cheated of a gold medal in the Olympics in 88. And that was pretty much my amateur career. But it taught me a lot.
And then moving into the pros, what was the experience like for that first pro fight? It's obviously something that you can't experience more than once.
No, it was difficult because it was different because it was a rather easy fight, but the leading up to it was rough because it was the first time in a long time that I boxed without a headgear. First time with the smaller gloves on. So it was a lot of different things that I hadn't seen in quite some time. After the first one got started though, I felt really good about it and I took off.
And you won four division world titles. I think you're the only man to win a light middleweight and heavyweight title as well in boxing.
No, only man ever turned professional as a light middleweight and become heavyweight champion.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the highlights of your pro career? What was the biggest title you won or the biggest fight that you had?
Well, the biggest fight was beating James Toney, who at the time was 44-0, was considered pound for pound the best. I thought I was, so we had a showdown. I won the showdown, so I became pound for pound the best. My next biggest fight was winning the heavyweight title, and that was because at the Olympics I was a junior middleweight. Never thought in my life that I would even think of fighting as a heavyweight. But it goes to show you that when God is for you, who could be against you? You never know what God really has in store. So you just have to go on believing, go on with the faith, knowing that God has good things in store. Believe that and press forward because you never know what he may bring to you.
And then obviously you do work now with Jody as well. Just tell us how that relationship started for you, where you met each other and how it's grown over the time.
I think I first met them in Atlantic City or either New York at the Garden. One or the other, Isaac was fighting somebody and I saw him. And I think it was Jody's birthday that weekend. And we spoke briefly. And I watched Isaac because I heard a lot about him. I think Buddy McGirt was training him at the time. Saw a lot of potential. And I really wish I could have got my hands on him at that point because I think I could have made an even bigger difference in his career had I got him at that point. However, things happen for a reason. It happened that we finally got together before, after he fought Kovalev. We were trying to get together before he fought Kovalev, but I had just received my Russian citizenship, so it would have been crazy for me to come in and fight against a Russian guy and they just granted me citizenship. Yes. So I told him after he fight Kovalev, let's work together and see what happens. Man, from that point, we formed a beautiful relationship. He and Jody came, and I think they went a few other places, like to Andre Ward's and a few other places, just trying to see what was a good fit for them. When they got to my gym, they realized that not only was people saying I was pound for pound one of the best fighters in the world, but I understood boxing on a level that most people don't. And when I broke it down and started explaining it to them, I think they fell in love with my mental aspect of the sport, and I think that's what led us to where we are today.
And now you've obviously moved on from boxing, you've moved into training and running the gym. What has that change been like for you, or the adaptation from being a boxer to now coaching other boxers?
Not much change, because I still have to teach them the same things that I was learning or wanting to learn, or the things that I had to use when I fought. So it's not a lot of difference, because different fighters do different things. So sometimes I have to go more this way than that way, and sometimes I have to go more that way than this way, depending on the individual. Because I don't try to teach guys to be me. I try to teach them to be capable of doing the things that I was capable of doing, which were whatever I wanted to do next, I could. And so I want to put guys in a position that when they do things, they're setting themselves up for whatever they want their next move to be. Not me, what they want their next move to be.
And a big part of your game and a big part of your success is your mental strength. A lot of guys go through a lot of adversity, being told no, being told they can't do things. What is something that you can give to those kind of people to kind of push them through and help them build that mental fortitude?
If you remember, everybody knows what Pensacola is, because every time I fought as a professional, I said, Pensacola in the house. People say, why did you do that? Well, when I was a kid, they told me the same thing. You'll never make it from Pensacola, Florida. It's too small. You can't get to be world champion from here. Guess what? I did all of that and some from right there in Pensacola, Florida, where I still live today. So when people tell you can't, there's no such thing as you can't. If God is for you, who could be against you? Once again, so when they told me I couldn't, that just made me go harder. And so when they tell you that you can't, it should make you change gears from high to higher.
And then now, obviously, you guys are opening a gym in South Africa. I'm very excited about that, being an ex-boxer myself and having a passion for the sport. But what is the purpose of that gym? What are you doing the gym for? Is it just another boxing gym, or is there a higher calling for it?
Never ever just another boxing gym. For me, there's a lot of talent here in South Africa. I even fought one of the guys through learning Malinga myself in my professional career. Guys like Isaac and other guys who have the talent, yet they have a hard time bridging the gap between getting the talent to the next level, which is usually in the United States. So I felt like if I helped with Jody doing a gym here in South Africa, now we can kind of start molding, helping guys up the level of their fight game. Not that they're not good enough already, some are good enough already, but having that experience helps. Along with that, we also can mold them to where now I can take them and put them under the Roy Jones Jr. umbrella and try to market them in the United States. And maybe they can make a better name for themselves without going through so much confusion.
And then does that mean we're going to be seeing a lot more of you in South Africa? Are you going to be spending a bit more time here?
I surely hope so.
That's good to hear. And then just one more thing, if there's any aspiring boxers out there, or guys that are looking to get into boxing, guys that are trying to take that journey to the next level, any words of wisdom from one of the greatest ever?
If you want to get into boxing, come to the gym, the Roy Jones Jr. and Jody Gym. Listen to what Jody and Shadow teach you, because I taught them what to teach of my technique when I'm not here. When I do come here, I will also assist them in teaching you how to be pound for pound the best the way that I did it. I covered more weight than any other fighter ever in the history of boxing, pound for pound wise. Now weight classes, we're talking about weight, period. Like 156, 154 to 200 on up to infinity. So I am truly the pound for pound king. You want to learn from me, come to the gym and I'll teach you.
Well, there you have it, guys. The living legend himself, the pound for pound king, Roy Jones Jr. Roy, thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing a lot more from the journey.
Thank you for having me.
If you don't if you don't. If you don't.